Welcome everyone. It's the Football Amigos show. It's your boy Mide as always. Welcome to week 13 of the Premier League. We are excited for the games we have in store. As of course, ladies and gentlemen, I have my two amigos here with me as always. Amigo Ayo, how are you doing today?
What a wonderful day to be an Arsenal fan. Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is. You have a very interesting fixture this week. Looking forward to myself and the amigos to hear your thoughts about how that game is going to go against West Ham. And of course, the big game of the weekend for week 13. Amigo Sam, Liverpool is playing Man City. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic. I look forward to the game.
Yes, I'm excited to definitely talk about it. And of course, my boys are playing Everton on Sunday. We will talk about it as well too. Ayo, we'll start with you. Arsenal is playing away to West Ham at 11:30 on Saturday, November the 30th. It will be the last game for that day's fixture. Arsenal is playing a team that they had a very good transfer window. We talked about this beginning of the season. We talked about the quality they've brought in. We were not sure about their coach Lopetegui, and it's showing that they probably should not have fired David Moyes. I don't think they should have. Now, there might be arguments about that in terms of their style of play. Maybe that's why they bought Lopetegui. That's fine. But when a coach wins you a cup and you can hopefully get him quality players to push him to make different decisions, maybe they should have kept Moyes and give him time. And if not, if you're going to change your coach, it's important to get a coach that can play the style you want and not someone that hasn't had a good track record in coaching whatsoever. It looks to me that he only has 2 games to spare before he's fired. That's what the news is saying. One of them is this Arsenal game. Aya, your thoughts about this game and leading into that game? Do you see Arsenal steamrolling West Ham away, or is this going to be a tight game?
Well, it depends on the fitness of our wingbacks. All fit for uh, next whenever we play West Ham, it's going to be a simple game. So one thing that I could always count on with Arsenal is our ability to manage the threat the opposition. What's it called? Has. We have a nullifying effect. And when you don't have specific players, it's hard to maintain it. But you come back from Nottingham Forest and you have no shots on target with zero point 0.4 xG. That is exactly the Arsenal. What's it called? I remember. And that kind of Arsenal, I think, is going to be as one sided a game as it's going to get. So I predict something in the line of 2-0, 3-0. I think that Lopetegui has his work cut out. However, he won't receive that. I'm pretty sure because they're facing Arsenal. That's why it's a 2 game expectation, not a one. Yeah.
Do you see some of the players that normally start for Arsenal coming back into the starting lineup?
Yeah, I mean, out of here, it really just depends on who our backup to right back is. Tomiyasu seems like he's training again, so if he's ready to uh, be the substitute for Timber, then we will see Partey start of the base. I'm really sure. I'm really thinking that we might give Declan Rice till this game to heal because he's had a broken toe that he's been nursing since the start of the season, and so we've been trying to like keep him off the pitch. So hopefully we don't use him. But uh, any combination of games, like you bring Havertz into this game, and that's just chaos that I don't think West Ham can cope with. Marino, Odegaard behind him. You have Trossard coming into form. You have, or either that or Martinelli, and then you actually have left-footed players on the left-hand side, which is what we couldn't have with Marino and Calafiori. Uh, I really don't see the answers that was it called West Ham are going to provide because they have great players who can play the ball too, Kudus and Bowen. But Kudus has been in terrible form this season, and the two players we have, Saliba and Gabriel, are just experts at handling one-on-one duels at this point. So I really don't see the out for their team, and so I expect this to be a straightforward game. However, we're playing away, and so there's always shenanigans that can happen. But I'm pretty confident it's going to be a 2 or 3 goal game, 3-0. Sorry, game.
Yeah, I don't think West Ham are going to be blowing bubbles in the London Stadium this coming week 13. I think it's going to be a very dark day at the office for them, to be honest. I'll be curious to see over the next 2 weeks when they do sack Lopetegui. I will be curious to see who they bring in. Would it be a fashionable coach in maybe Potter or will it be Mourinho? I've heard rumors about Mourinho wanting to come back to the Premier League, possibly between West Ham and Newcastle. So we will see. Controversial, but amigos, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what your thoughts are about that West Ham Arsenal game. Moving on to the next one, United and Everton can wait. I'm more excited about this one. Liverpool Man City playing on Sunday, December 1st, start of the Christmas period. What a game to start with. Liverpool Man City. This is a six-pointer decider. This is Man City playing away to Anfield at Anfield, Liverpool's home base, and especially with what has happened with week 12, moving into week 13. Where does Pep go from here, Ayo? Where does he go from here? And keeping in mind, Liverpool, again, looking at their scorecard, having an A over the past month, Liverpool play Real Madrid, but then Liverpool having to play Man City as well on a Sunday. Sam, your thoughts? Your thoughts?
All right. I thought you wanted to hear Ayo's thoughts on Man City side, but it's
Oh,
okay.
we
I
will. We will. We'll start with yours first from Liverpool
all right.
perspective.
I hope Ayo doesn't want Man City to start winning because nobody wants it. All of us three do. All right. Yeah, I think the game is going to be interesting. Obviously, playing Real Madrid before that makes it a little bit dicey. But regardless, I'm still very positive for 3 points. I can see Nunes goal, a very difficult goal, but he's going to somehow score it. We know even when Man City is not doing well, they are always wanting to do something whenever they play Liverpool. Uh, somehow, one side of me is saying, okay, because of fatigue, I can see a 1-1 or we beat them at Anfield. Here's the catch. Um, we want to play our best player on that day, especially in these two games. Play Van Dijk, play Kanate, um, McAllister, all these guys, and they'll give their 100% on that day against Real Madrid, and they will turn around and want to do the same on over the weekend with Man City. It's just going to be a lot of energy being let out in their place. And we know that these two teams, Real Madrid and Man City, they are very crafty. They can have a sloppy game until 85 minutes and something change. So I am still positive of 3 points on both games, especially
Wow.
with very very positive, especially with the way we are practicing and actually doing our substitution. I don't know which one we will go for first. Maybe like a team A. We have Luis Diaz start against Real Madrid. We have Cody Gakpo as well, or Nunes partnering with him. But Salah, Van Dijk, these guys that have been 100%, I'm afraid they might drop the ball because of fatigue, and the opponent is going to use that against us. But still
Sam,
positive.
is Chiesa still injured?
Yeah, he's injured still. Makes it a little bit harder. I don't know who we could put in the place of Salah's position that can do the job well. Of course, nobody's gonna be like Salah, but at least give us about 80% of what Salah would have done. What's this young guy's name?
Yeah, anyone in your academy that I was gonna ask.
This guy is back in training now. Oh my god. No
Elliot.
Curtis Jones. Elliot. But Elliot doesn't give you the power
I saw
to
your
get.
reaction.
Yes, and it's understandable. It doesn't give you the power. It doesn't give you the speed. But it does play that position. It's more or less like a positional replacement, no more of performance replacement. So you can't get that from Salah, from Elliot. So, but he can do that well. slow the game down sometimes when it needs to, and give you a good crossing. Now the question is, can Nunes score when the ball comes in? So it's going to be a little bit of challenge if we get tired this week, and it's understandable regardless of what the result is. I'll still be proud of the boys.
Scoreline.
Man City, I am actually seeing a lot of goals for both teams. I'm seeing a 3-3, and if Liverpool were to win the game, it's probably going to be a 4-2.
Wow. Well, amigos, we're in for an exciting week three then, based on Sam's reality of those scoreline. Ayo, we'll come back to you before we move away from the Liverpool Man City game. Ayo, where does Pep go from here? The last 3 weeks, it's been tough. It's been hell. Finally signed an extended 2 year contract. Then lost to Tottenham 4-0 at home. Where does Pep go from here, Ayo?
Uh, I think he might struggle. He's a great coach. He has been an innovator his entire career. You think he's reached his limit, he innovates. What's it called? And creates and does something special. There's a lot of things we do now that we do now because Pep first did it, and so we can never like write that part out. However, I think he's reached a point where peak performances, his peak performers in the team are either out of form in terms of goal scoring from Think Foden and and uh, Haaland out of form, or his more consistent performers are aging out. So this is too old a squad. Like Kevin De Bruyne can no longer be relied upon, and he's a key player, and he can be relied upon. Gudogan is brilliant. He's old. Even Bernardo Silva, who's on the pitch, looks like he's defying his age, is still about 32. And so all across the board, you have players that I feel should have been cycled out 2 seasons ago. Maybe we start preparing. Like I would have preferred to start seeing Zubimendi already, or players that are young that can give you those qualities in key positions. You should have expected them to arrive. Like he's done some changes to the wings, but I don't think that's the main problem. That's a problem too, because he brought them to have one-on-one duels that were successful, and I don't think that's happening as intended. However, the midfield, the defense, you see a lot of aging people that cannot keep up with the intensity required for a new push. And so you have to understand that you can't control the games anymore with the players you have. And if you can't control your games, what are your answers, especially against teams like Liverpool? And I hope he can figure something out. But if he tries to control the game, like try and like build a lot of like diminutive players and try and control possession, like I think that would backfire because I think trying to control possession will play into Liverpool's hands. He has to be able to. Sorry.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah.
There was something you said, and I didn't want to lose track of it, and I would love Amigos' response on this. Amigos, like, share, subscribe. Let us know about this question and your comments or your thoughts on it. You bought Jack Grealish for £100 million. Sh- should he have even gone there in the first place?
Jack Grealish is a great player. I personally think he is. I think he's a very intelligent player. I think he has also struggled with fitness. What's it called? To get the game time. I think if he was fitter, he would have played a little bit more. I really do think it's that midfield. Because whenever you think of Man City, like who are the guys that you'd be like, this is when they were winning Champions League, who's a guy to go to? De Bruyne, Gundogan before he left. Like that's a guy
And
to go
Rodri.
to. Who's your guy? Rodri. Like those are names that you're like, no, like these are the guys. And you're seeing the limits physically for them. And there has to be other stuff because Foden is not that player. Kovacic is not that. They're not bad players, but in terms of control of the game, Foden is great in tight spaces and scoring. I guess when he does, but he doesn't give you that metronomic passing and vision that De Bruyne does. And if De Bruyne cannot give it to you, you're not getting it anywhere else. Gundogan can't marshal all these positions like he used to. He's 34. Rodri's not allowed. Kovacic is a liability. And this impacts how well you can control games. And so when you can't control games, you're exposed, you can see it. And so he has to understand that if he can't control it, what are his options? and it's gonna be hard to decide. Yeah, but I believe Pep can figure it out. I don't know if he can figure it out against Liverpool, but I think he can figure it out. So I don't. I'm not quite ready to write them off for the Premier League. I personally think it's way too early. That people are like, "Oh my God, like it's already done." I'm like, I don't think so. Like everybody's just 2 weeks away, 2 weeks of games away from a completely different dynamic on the board. Nothing is that clear cut. Come in January, we can talk again, but it's not looking good, and I'm not sure. There's no easy fix. Definitely no easy fix to what's wrong with them right now. Yeah.
I guess it's going to take time for us to see those corrections from a Pep standpoint and see if he can turn the ship around. Because right now, the ship has stalled. They have four anchors on the floor in the bottom of the sea, and the wind is blowing, but they ain't moving. That's the analogy I can give them right now, and it's on their logo.
Yeah.
There's a ship on their logo, but I think it's anchored down right now. But it will be interesting to see how Pep, which I again I don't like the team he coaches for, but I respect him a lot, and I'm curious to see how he turns this around. Speaking about turning things around, United is playing Everton on Sunday as well, 7:30. We're playing Everton. Now, Everton, they're in relegation zone, or maybe a little bit outside of it. They have picked up some form over the past couple of weeks. But then again, they are not playing as well as they should to get out of it. They drew to Brighton, a game they should be winning if they want to stay clear of the relegation zone. Amigos, of course, relegation zone is the last three teams on the table. And at the end of the season, if they don't get up to 30 points or they're at that point below there, they will be relegated to the championship. In terms of United's situation, it's just going to take time. I hope training, I would love to see how training goes this week. I think repetition is a big deal. Everton, on the other hand, they have players like Indai and McNeil that are playing very well in their positions and can score goals when they need to. Doesn't mean they're playing well. We should be winning that game 2-0. Just my preference. But again, it'll be interesting to see if he plays the same team he played against Ipswich or he plays the same team but players in slightly different positions or he changes it completely. I don't think he will change it completely, but we'll see. Honorable mention, Chelsea's playing Aston Villa. That's going to be another interesting game as well. Aston Villa this season has been very good. They didn't have a good outing this past week. They played Crystal Palace that has improved. I actually saw that game. They have improved, but Aston Villa had to come back from behind to draw that game 2-2. It'll be interesting to see if they are truly a team that are Champions League worthy or are a team that are on the up based on the amount of games they're having to play. Are your thoughts from a Chelsea Aston Villa perspective? Do you think Chelsea might wobble, or do you think they will just keep carrying on what they've been doing over the past couple of weeks?
Chelsea in a very opportune position. They don't have midweek games, and Aston Villa is showing that it's not easy to juggle both. It's starting to show, and that was one of the first things I said. I was like, I'm looking at what's it called, Aston Villa for third position because that's how much I respect their squad, but I don't know if they can handle both the what's it called, the Premier League and the Champions League, and the cracks are starting to show. And I'm from a perspective of what a fresher squad is. Chelsea are just a much fresher squad, and so that I think will play against Aston Villa. I don't know. They're playing the Champions League this week. They've got to make a quick transition, and I don't think this squad is as robust. However, I do respect what they're doing as a squad and as a manager, so I can't write them out. But my feeling is that Chelsea would have the edge, and you have a player like Nicholas Jackson, and some players who are just delivering goals. And it's kind of funny. I wish there were Chelsea fans that I could point to this season. I was kept saying that like Nicholas Jackson's a player you have to love into excellence because he's doing
Hmm.
all the fundamental things he was doing last season. Even when everyone's like, yo, you have to sell him, I was like, no, no. All the runs he's making them with power into space, showing up for passing. He just has to tie in that last bit. And now that he's doing that, everyone's like, oh my God, he's such an amazing player. I was like, this is the person you wanted to be dropped last season. So that's funny. I feel vindicated for that. But I think Chelsea might have the edge. I feel really bad for Aston Villa. I was like, it's very very hard to make that transition into Premier League and Champions League at the same time. It's difficult.
Sam, we'll wrap up with you. Your thoughts on just anything else from this week 13 that would think that excites you, or that you think will be another laughing situation.
Yeah, I actually think Chelsea Aston Villa is probably going to be another tie game. Chelsea is on the better side than Aston Villa, but they still have not figured out, um, scoring plenty of goals and also holding games down. They have plenty of firepowers that want to be the guy. They just not a team yet. Yeah, they had a great outing with what was that? What was that they played that Jackson scored? You just mentioned it now, yo. Um,
They played Leicester.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they had a great outing with Leicester, and that's because Leicester is just struggling still, right? But if they keep playing their selfish game, that game could have been 4, could have been 5, but
Yes, Madueke blocked Palmer's shot,
Palmer short.
which he apologized, by the
Yeah.
way.
And
But
also
it was
Jackson could have
interesting.
passed, a
Hmm.
few times
Hmm.
like that. Aston Villa, you mentioned they've been on a good form, but they could do better, honestly. So I can see both teams going back and forth. Probably 2-2 or Chelsea wins at 2-1.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that Chelsea Aston Villa game is one of those games where amigos, you pick up a bag of popcorn and a drink, and you just watch as a neutral. And some popcorn might fly up when you see some crazy goals, or you
Mhm.
might throw popcorn at the TV for someone missing a glorious chance. I can see that happening. It's just one of those games where it gets us excited, and why we love the Premier League so much. Amigos, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for your time today. It is week 13, and we're very excited about the games. Arsenal is playing West Ham on Saturday at 11:30. It's going to be a fun game. And of course, Sunday we have Chelsea playing Aston Villa at 7:30. United playing Everton. United is playing at home in that game, so my hope is I'm gonna get the backing of the fans, and the fans back the players, and that transcends onto the field. Of course, Liverpool, big game for the week and the weekend. Liverpool playing Man City. It will be an interesting reaction, amigos, for week 13. Stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe. Like always, we will bring you a lot of content. Share this with your friends and family. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm grateful and thank you for you all. We will see you very soon. Take care, amigos. Stay positive.
Thank you.